Good morning. The meeting of the Windward Planning Commission will now come to order. We'll start that again. Good morning. The meeting of the Windward Planning Commission will now come to order. It is Thursday, September 1st, 2022. The time is 9 p.m. This meeting is also live streamed on YouTube. At this time, I'll introduce our fellow commissioners. Commissioner John Cross, Commissioner Gilbert Aguinaldo, Commissioner Lauren Gaylord, Commissioner Louis Daniele III, Commissioner Wayne DeLuz, Commissioner Michelle Galimba, and I'm Chair Dennis Lin. We also want to introduce our staff. Planning Director Zenlo Kern, Deputy Corporation Counsel for the Planning Department, Jean Campbell, Deputy Corporation Counsel for the Commission, Malia Sakai, Planner Clinton Mercado, Planner Tracy Lee Camero, Acting Planning Program Manager Alex Roy, Windward Planning Commission Secretary Melissa Bacayanan Salvador, and Zoom host Janice Popham. Just a reminder, please make sure your cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. For those of us who are attending here in person, please remember to pick up your microphone when you speak and speak directly into the mic so that your statements can be recorded and transcribed. I'll now move on to the approval of the minutes. The minutes from the August 4th, 2022 meeting was distributed. I ask for a motion to approve as circulated. Second. Moved by Commissioner Galimba, seconded by Commissioner Aguinaldo. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Minutes are approved. As stated in the published agenda, members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time of the agenda item is called to order. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out the yellow sign-up form at the back table and give it to our staff. Also, if you have any written testimony that has not been sent in earlier, you may submit it now. Testifiers on Zoom, the host will put you back in the waiting room until your agenda item is called to order. Or you may choose to provide your testimony now and then log out of the Zoom platform. Either way, you can observe the meeting via YouTube. You can find the URL address on the agenda and the link on the county website calendar. Note that the Zoom platform and the YouTube live stream are provided as a courtesy. Today's hearings will continue if the Zoom or the YouTube connections fail. Finally, before we start to receive public testimony, pursuant to Rule 1-5 of the Planning Commission's Rule of Practice and Procedure, I would like to remind everyone to be courteous and respectful of all testifiers, staff members, and commissioners. Please direct all testimony to me as chair. The first item of business is applicant Renegade Towers LLC, PL-USE-2022-000004. Application for a use permit to allow the establishment of a telecommunications facility with a 180-foot tall monopole tower and related equipment and improvements within a 4,108 square foot portion of a larger 14.622 acre parcel. The subject property is located at 3331 Palmont Drive to the south. to the south of Nolemana Street, Hamana Drive intersection, Hamana and Kona Hawaii Homesteads, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-5-002 parcel 023. Do we have any in-person testifiers? Dean Umeda. No. Yeah. Please raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in front of the Windward Planning Commission? Yes, I do. Please state your name and where you live. And then you start. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Kino Meda. I live on 253483 Impali College Street in Hawaii. I'm not in support of the cell phone tower. Pretty simple. There's an alternate site, as I understand, and that won't be too clear. Some of the reasons I don't want a cell phone tower is health concerns and the view. I do not want to see a cell phone tower that looks like a fake tree. I want to keep Hawaii as it is. Very important that we work to get the tower in place in a secondary site where I believe it's on the 8-mile marker where there are no homes. So there should be no concern with health and any view being disrupted. Pretty much that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that has registered to testify? Okay, I will go on to the Zoom testimony. The first one I have here is Bryce Novak.
Aloha, Commissioners. My name is Bryce Novak from J5 Infrastructure.
Hold on, Mr. Novak. I need to swear you in. Yeah. We have Mary Ueda as well?
Yes, we do.
Mary, if you could unmute. I could swear you in, please. Can you please raise your right hand if you're on camera? But do you swear to affirm? You swear to or affirm to tell the truth in front of the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Ms. Ueda?
Is it okay to proceed?
Okay. All right. Before you provide your testimony, please provide your name, where you live, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Bryce Novak. I live in Kailua on Oahu.
Let's proceed.
Proceed. Sorry, I'm having a little bit tough time hearing you guys. I'm going to go ahead and proceed. My name is Bryce Novak from J5 Infrastructure Partners. We represent AT&T's interest in Hawaii regarding all macro new site builds and site modification on their towers. We've been before the commission, the Windward Planning Commission, about 5 or 6 times, approximately 5 times over the last 3 years regarding this FirstNet first responder program. And we've gotten some great sites here. We've done one in Lalani Estates, one in HPP, one in Curtistown. We've done one in on the other side, the Hilo side on Sal Road, and now we're looking to co-locate as the initial build out for our last time on this Renegade Tower. And this specific area was noted by county and state first responders as an area that they have trouble getting reception on. So I just wanted to call attention to the testimony provided letter of support by AT&T that was submitted and confirmed that we've entered into agreement with Renegade Towers to co-locate on their tower. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have for us regarding AT&T's co-location. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. I will now, do any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Novak? I'll proceed to second testifier, Mary Ueda.
Mary appears to be unmuted, but I don't know if she can.
I think she's trying right now, Janice.
Okay.
So, Mary, can you hear us? Janice, can you try to say hello to her or have her begin her testimony?
Hi, Mary. Can you hear me?
Janice, if you could send her a message that we can't hear her via the chat.
Yes, I have to re-enable the chat because we disabled it after the last meeting. So 1 second. Okay, Mary's connecting to audio right now. Okay. Hi, Mary. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I had to get on a different medium here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Can you hear me, Mary?
I can hear you, and thank you for your patience. My apologies. I'm primitive.
That's okay. So if you could just state your name, where you live, and you may start your testimony. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Mary Ueda. I live here in Kamona City, have been here for over 30 years, and the progress is slow. I feel that the tower would improve our communication abilities. The lower end of our subdivision has 1 bar. I have 2 bars. It also depends on what service you have. But in short, as long as the tower is as far as possible from the community due to the concerns of some of our residents, I am in favor of it. The disguise of a pine tree sounds amenable. Basically, it's a necessity, and I feel that we need to get past the health fear that many of our citizens have. We did not have time for a mass meeting of the community, but we did have a small 9-member meeting with the project manager, and she did a wonderful job of trying to educate us. But social media is a barrier, especially when, you know, research is not viewed at the same level as somebody's opinion. So in short, I am in favor of this tower with a few modifications and no microwave. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. At this time, are there any other testifiers regarding this matter? Sir?
Yeah. I signed up for it.
Have you registered?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the process
Yes, ma'am.
is.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Please, sir, come on up. You could please. You please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter in front of the Windward Planning Commission? Please state your name, address, name, where you live, and you have 3 minutes for your testimony.
My name is Norman Cole. 25 Street, 321, Street. First proximity
Hold on 1 second. Mr. Can you test your mic, please? Yeah, please start over.
My name is Norman Kawabato. I live on 25-3321 Untitled Street, which is in the close proximity of the proposed cell site. I submitted my testimony also regarding the concerns about the health. On-site scenes, quality and increasing medical costs if it becomes ill because of this. I exercise regularly and walk from Untitled Street all the way up to the intersection with the Mount Drive. It's, I think, very hard. It's so familiar to us. I'm opposed to this having the site self-control at the site. First of all, I want to say Renegade already had light company, which is a perfect place for self-control power, which is up on the mile marker and highway. The testimony now today is also to bring to light to the commission that there's a big flaw in the design of having the power put right there on the drive. The problem is the power, the elevation of the land where the towers reside is like 1,960 feet. And you have another 180 feet. The tower is too short and is not above even above the level of 2,200 feet. So the signal coming from the tower will never go up over the highway towards Kona. And Cuban Herald's purpose for this is also to provide good communication with along the highway. Well, there's not going to be a communication because of the design and the position of the tower. I submitted everything, which I even drew a diagram explaining the dynamics of the whole situation.
And I believe that we should not approve the permit for the tower right there on Commander Drive. And I think we should try to find another place and use the existing permit we have. It's a perfect site. And to cover the dental highway as well as the community of Montesino and further down into other areas of Kilo. Because you can see the site is totally unobstructed. Monitoring and to the highway. That's my proposal.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for Mr. Caldwell? Okay, thank you for your testimony. All right, then we'll go on to staff presentation then. Oh, sorry, motion to close public testimony on this agenda item.
I move to close public testimony.
I second. Motion by Commissioner Daniel, second by Commissioner Alvarado to close public testimony on this matter. Staff presentation, please. Oh, sorry, all those in favor? Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The public testimony is not closed. Go ahead.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I'm Clinton. Thank you, Chairman. We will begin with the, excuse me 1 second. Next question. Okay, we will begin with the location map. The subject 14.622 acre parcel, which is outlined in blue, where's the middle, is located in the South Hilo district of Hawaii Island in Upper Kamana area. The 4,108 square foot project area is located approximately 1,600 feet north of Daniel K. Inouye Highway. The applicant is requesting a use permit to construct a new non-manned telecommunication facility consisting of a 180-foot tall painted monopole tower and related equipment within a 4,108 square foot portion of a larger 14.622 acre parcel situated in the county's agricultural zoning district. The monopole tower will be designed to accommodate the co-location of up to 4 telecommunication carriers and will comply with all federal, state, and county rules and regulations. Excuse me. The project objective of the new facility is to improve the existing cell phone coverage by filling spotty coverage in the neighborhood residential, in the nearby residential neighborhood, and to provide coverage on Daniel K. Inouye Highway as far Mauka as possible. This facility will also provide emergency 911 service in the areas that currently have little or no coverage. Next, we move on to the county zoning map. Here is a closer view of the subject parcel outlined in blue. The subject parcel and its surrounding properties to the east and south are zoned agricultural 20 acres shown in dark green. The properties to the north across Kamana Drive are zoned residential 10 acre shown in light green, agriculture residential 10 acres shown in light green, and to the west, a mix of forest reserve and agricultural 20 acres. Here is the state land use boundary map. The SLU designation for the subject property is agricultural, indicated in green, with state land use conservation and land indicated in the light blue, which is part of the Hilo Forest Reserve. The general plan will be the general plan, land use plan allocation guide map designated for the subject parcel as extensive agriculture, which is indicated in white. The aqua color indicated the conservation area, which is consistent with the Hilo Forest area. That's on the left side. And the mustard yellow area is designated rural, which is where the Kamana city subdivision is. Finally, the light green towards the bottom on the slide is important agricultural land. Here is a couple images from the applicant. The top left image is a site plan showing the nearby tower located towards the bottom left of the site plan. And the right side image is a blown up version of that area. And this is the applicant's elevations of the tower, one from the south, one from the east. Here's the aerial view. Again, the property is outlined in blue in the middle, showing Kamana City towards the top. And the image on the right is a blown up version of the subject property. Here's an image standing on Kamana Drive, looking at the proposed driveway location. The image on the left from Kamana Drive as well, looking Mackay with the subject property on the right. And the image on the right, standing on Kamana Drive, looking Mauka, the subject property is on the left. Here is some photo simulation provided by the applicant. The existing view of the subject property from Daniel K. Inouye Highway is on top left. And the bottom right shows the proposed subject property, again, from Daniel K. Inouye Highway. And it's indicated proposed 180 foot. There's another simulation. This one is from Kamana Drive, looking Mauka from Kamana Drive. And the bottom right is with the view with the proposed tower. This existing view of the property looking Mackay from Kamana Drive. Again, with the image on the right showing what the tower will look like. This is on Opalipali Street, looking in the direction of the subject property. The left is the existing, and the right would be the tower. Here is provided again by the applicant of what the coverage is going to look like. The left is the existing, and the right is the projected. And of course, the subject property is located in the middle. There's the bottom on the right side map. This we provided this location map just to show where the previously located, previously approved back in 2016, I believe it was July 7th, 2016, across Daniel K. Inouye Highway, where the yellow star is indicated on the map. And that's roughly about 1.2 miles from the subject property. And also Kamana City in the back. According to our applicant as well, previous person who applied for that application back in 2016 had sold the property. So there is a new owner who, according to the applicant, is not interested in doing the tower. So that's our conclusion on the slide. The director recommends approval with conditions. Okay. And with the additional requirement that it be a stealth monopole. Sure.
At this time, I will ask the applicant or their representative to please come forward. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission? Please speak directly into your microphone and state your name, area you live in, and whom you represent.
My name is Danette Martin. I live in Cairo, Format, and I represent Renegade Towers.
Have you received the background and recommendation reports from the planning department?
I have.
Do you agree with the recommendations, including the proposed conditions?
I do.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, I wanted to expand more on this previous location. That I think the carriers would have preferred it to. But I represented Verizon Wireless during that application. And when they were, starting to build that, and we were trying to get their utilities in place, they gave an application to Helco, and they were given a price tag of about $1 million to bring power to that location. They couldn't do that. So Renegade Towers offered, well, maybe we could build it for you. They looked into it, and they, even after trying to spread the cost between the carriers, it still didn't work. So Renegade Towers asked me if I could try to find a site that would work that was closer to utilities. So I looked around, and the closest that I could get that would still give some coverage to Saddle Road and the general paved like highway was this location here. We sited it as far south as we could. The parcel is sloped. So the elevation where the tower is sitting is, the elevation is 1959. And then it slopes down to 1809. So I met with the community. We had a nice luncheon over at the Grill. And I explained to them that we're still not getting the coverage that we want up Malca. We want to try to get up the highway as much as possible. Right now, E911 doesn't work, and that's a problem. And so the residents asked if I could move it to the Hilo side. And I explained to them that the difference in elevation would have to have like probably a 300-foot pole there. And FCC requires anything over 200 feet. You couldn't have a tree pole. You would have to have a big tower that was painted white and red. And you'd have to have a big beacon on top. And that would be much worse than a stealth tree pole. So it seemed Mary was the one that set up the meeting. She understood. Some of the other community members were afraid about the emissions that RF emissions. I provided information from a health physicist as well as FCC brochures, which indicates that typically a cell phone antenna emits around 1% of the maximum amount of emissions allowed by the FCC. I did also bring a meter with me and try to explain to them that their phone, because of its proximity to them, it provides more of emissions than the tower would, but that they could limit that if they have a tower closer to them. Because when your phone you're on a call and your phone drops, that means that your phone had to power up so much that it gets to the maximum allowed by the FCC and then it drops the call. So when your phone is powering up, and you're putting the phone, to the maximum amount, you're putting it to your ear, that's where the emissions are. So I hope I brought some comfort to them. I know, some people, no matter how much information you give them, it's still. But the 1996 telecommunication code prohibits jurisdictions from denying applications for health reasons. The FCC strictly handles the safety issue. And I think on the aesthetic part that people were concerned about, I think that the south pole is a good mitigator for that. Do you have any questions for me?
Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Do you have a mock-up of what that would look like as a stone?
I did provide that to the planning department.
Thank you.
It is not a photo simulation, it is an actual tree pole that's in Honolulu, at, in Matsukio.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
And that was the one I gave you. I gave the planning department with the minutes of the meeting that we had. But you could show the one that's at the volcano golf course as well. The pole on the right is the Matsukio cell phone tower. And the other two, I'm not sure what those would take.
The other two are just samples of.
Samples on the tower.
Yeah, the two on the left is just samples that we searched for that, what the typically look like.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? For staff?
I have a question for Bennett.
Yes.
Hold on now. So when we were talking about topography, elevation, I think it was on your the PD back report. I noticed that it's on kind of like the far Malta Saddle Road corner of the property.
That's right.
I know you guys were talking about elevation from Malta to Makai. Community asked, can it be a little bit more down? And I do understand about that full height, and I hope the community understand about height restrictions
I think we did.
with that there.
Mhm.
But, was it looked at? I know we had, in our background report, the property, I think was physical address 3331 Pomona Drive
That's the subject property that we're on.
we're on.
Yes.
Has it, I know you guys put it on more on the boundary with the state. And I understand with the community is basically more of the safety issue. And of course, of its, the visual of it. Have it been, there's any alternative discussion or thoughts of, if you guys bring it a little bit more down, because there's a property owner with his house there. It would, you know, bring it down somewhat versus way on the top corner. It is a big parcel. And, you know, it has that also been considered, you know, does have a backup plan. Of it.
We haven't considered that and so, you know, we could consider that, but what I think you lose in coverage on
Right.
the highway, I mean, it's already not giving us what we want. So the further that you move it down, I think you would lose something and it wouldn't provide the community that much comfort. You know, a simple planting of some trees would actually meet that, you know, at the neighbors.
Right, but that stuff where you guys showed, where was it? You know,
Oh,
what?
Makakilo, yes.
So Makakilo, is that what is being proposed? Or
Yes,
is it just a reference?
it is a reference. So there, you know, there are several different three-hole
Right.
types. And that is just one of them.
I think if it's more look like a tree, because one of the testifiers indicating is like we figure just like sticks and branches, right? Versus look like a tree.
Well, so part of the problem too is, this is a 180-foot tower.
Right.
It's really, not really a good idea to have a tree pole for a 180-foot tower. The branches are very heavy, means you have to have a beefier tower. And so typically you see these tree poles, you know, maybe 100 feet instead of 180. So that was kind of the reason why we originally proposed just painting the tree. And that's my personal preference, is just painting the tree and mix it among some of the natural landscape. I think it's less obtrusive. That's just my personal view. I've been doing this for a very long time.
And the Makakilo site, how tall is that?
That's under 100.
Under 100.
That was just an example. Of trees.
Right.
You know, the other trees, the ones to the left.
Yeah.
So those look more like the Norfolk pine, where they've got more of a separation.
Okay. Okay. Complete my questions. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Question. Go ahead, Commissioner Thompson.
How's it, Jeanette? Long see.
Yes.
I'm very familiar with that model.
Yes.
Or that model pine up there.
He very much is.
Since I'm the one that approved it. Anyway, I want to ask a question about the 2016 site. that was
Yes.
approved. And I believe the Helco 69 kV lines run right by there.
Yes, and that's why we chose it when we were there, because we saw the transmission line and thought, oh, there's power here.
Okay, so Helco, this is my question. The Helco's quoting $1 million to
That's
get
right.
to a site that is just a few hundred feet away from 69 kV lines.
I don't know. It is not my job to know that. I know that they were told that. I think they would, you know, they spent a lot of money developing it. I don't think they would have abandoned it. If it didn't cost that much money, so I don't know.
And then moving to the current site. It's right there in the upper corner of the Britain property.
Yes,
Any thoughts of moving it feet in, or in just a bit?
I don't know what that would, I don't know that that would help.
It's farther away from the probably.
We're already at like 270. I mean, I guess that we've got setbacks too. You know, we try to kind of tuck it back on that property line.
Right. And
Okay. Any further questions from commissioners? If not, Is there a motion for action? Commissioner Dilemma.
I move that the application for use permit docket number 22-00 be approved based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Dilemma. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Daniele. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, staff may have a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. First, Chair Galimba.
Vice Chair, aye.
Vice. Commissioner Daniel,
Aye.
Commissioner Aguinaldo. Aye. Commissioner Vela,
Aye.
Commissioner Frost. Commissioner Davies
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
Thank you. That's 7 ayes and no noes, 0 noes.
Thank you. You'll be notified of the commission's decision.
Thank you so much.
We will now move on to agenda item number 2, applicant Leonard Cardoza Trust. EL-REZ-2022-000018. Change of zone from agricultural 20-acre A-20A to family agricultural -1 acre FA-1A zoning district for 15.411 acres of land. The subject properties are located to the north and high of Old Mamalahoa Highway, approximately 270 feet east of this intersection with Milo Street, portion of Pumupula and O'Ala, North Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 3-9-001, parcels 23 and 31. Do we have any testifiers for this agenda item? Okay. Nobody online either. Is move to close, is there a motion to close public testimony on this matter?
I make a motion to close public testimony.
Second.
Commissioner Aguinaldo made the motion, second by Vice Chair Philip. All in favor to close public testimony, please say aye.
Aye.
Public testimony for this matter is closed. Staff presentation, please.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Windward Planning Commission. Before you today, we have the Leonard Cardoza Trust Change of Zone Application, PL-REZ 2022-000020. It encompasses the following TMPs on the screen: 39001, 023, and 031. Before you use the location map, you can see that the subject property is designated by the red flag. It is located within the O'Okala Ahupua'a district of the North Hilo, Hawaii. You have Hawaii Belt Road that runs in a north to south pattern on the screen, but it's actually shown more diagonal. Before you today, the applicant is currently requesting a change of zone from agricultural 20 acres, A20, to family agricultural FA1 acre zoning district for approximately 15.411 acres of land. The reasons for the request is that if the requested land use entitlement change is approved, the applicant proposes to subdivide the property into 7 lots. On your screen, you have the county zoning map. The subject parcel is designated by the red outline. I apologize, it's not too clear from my angle. I hope you guys can see it. It is located within the agricultural 20 acre zoning district, which is designated by the dark green color on your screen. Across the street, you have the RS10 zoning district, which is designated by the yellow color. The MG1 acre district, which is our industrial district, is on your screen in the gray color, and then further north, you have the agricultural 40 acre district shown to you in the blue. This is the state land use boundary map. As you can see, the green color is the agricultural zoning district. The subject property is outlined in the red, which is located within the agricultural zoning district. And the pink, which is the neighboring parcels, is located within the state land use urban district. Before you is the loop guide map, which is a land use pattern allocation guide map. This is kind of where we see like the property to be in the future. So the property is outlined in red. It is located within the low density urban as well as the industrial zone district, which is indicated in the gray. You have the urban expansion district, which is in the bracketed more by the shoreline, and then the surrounding is the green district, which is the important agricultural lands. So one thing to note, in April 2022, the planning director determined that the general plan designation for this property was located within the low density urban due to its broad brush nature. Typically within the low density urban designation, you have the residential with ancillary community and public uses and neighborhood and convenience to commercial uses. On the screen before you is the Hamakua CDP map. This is specifically for the O'Okala area. This is where the Hamakua envisions the future uses for the land as well, which you can see is located within the low density urban shown to you with the golden rock color, the industrial shown to you with the gray, and then the important ag land is shown to you in the green. This is an aerial map of the subject property. Again, the subject property is 15.411 acres. There is an existing garage that was constructed on the property that was done in 1930. I'm not really good with this. I apologize. I wanted to show you where the So the existing garage is here. As stated in the background report, the subject property was used in conjunction with the O'Okala Mill site, which is located on this property. As you can see, as well as stated in your background report, there is a crisscrossing section of the existing roadways that exist on the property. And that's the reason that Mr. Cardozo is coming before you today to adjust his subdivision to reflect the existing roadways that kind of go in a crisscrossing pattern on the subject property. This is the applicant's proposed subdivision plan. As stated, he is proposing to subdivide the property into 7 lots, ranging from 4 acres to 1 acre. Again, the reasons for him requesting the FA 1 acre is because due to the existing roadway construction on the property, he wants to kind of keep it with it. And these are the sizes of the lots that he's currently going to be proposing should this land use entitlement change be approved. These are the existing site photos of the subject property off of Mamalobal Highway. On the left-hand side, you have a view of the subject property facing the northeast direction. The subject property is located on the right. On the right-hand photo, you have the view of the subject property on Mamalobal Highway facing south, and the subject property is located to the left. Currently, with Mamalobal Highway, you have about a 20-foot wide pavement width within a 50-foot county right of way. There's also the utility lines that I wanted to discuss with you guys, because they're located along the old Mama Loa Highway within the county right of way. This is a site photo of the existing agricultural roadway that will be giving access to the subject properties from Mama Loa Highway. It's currently 20 feet wide according to our background report, and the subject property is located to the right-hand side of the photo. The planning director is currently recommending a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council for PLRC 2022-00018. That concludes my presentation, and I can turn it back to the chair.
Thank you, Tracy. Any questions for the staff? If not, I'd like to ask the applicant or the representative, please come forward. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission. Okay. All right, please speak directly into your microphone, state your name, the area you reside in, and whom you represent.
And my name is Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Darren Arai. I'm here assisting the applicant, Leonard Cardozo. Also assisting us as business.
Have you received the background report and recommendation reports from the planning department? And do you agree with the recommendations, including the proposed conditions?
Yes, we have read the director's report. We do appreciate the favorable recommendation, and we also agree with the proposed conditions of approval. During our presentation, we would like to speak to some suggested amendments to those conditions.
Please go ahead, Mr. Lam.
Thank you again, and good morning, everyone. And as always, we appreciate the very comprehensive presentation by the planning department. First of all, we wanted to kind of set a proper perspective for why this subdivision is being proposed in this particular area. As staff mentioned, these lands were part of a plantation scale sugar operation. And that was part of the old sugar company that started back in the mid-1800s. And I'm sure Mr. Cross would probably correct me if I was wrong on that, but I'm trying to do my research. With the unfortunate demise of the sugar plantation, there's a need now to kind of rebalance the land uses in the particular area, and which includes the subject property. The proposed 7-lot subdivision is part of that rebalancing that will take advantage of provide for small-scale agricultural opportunities, as well as single-family residential uses, which is consistent with existing residential uses immediately north of the subject property along the old Mama Loa Highway, and that includes Kukui Camp, as well as Milo, sorry, a lot of villages. So anyway, as the staff mentioned, the proposed subdivision will take advantage of the existing Cane Hall Road network that crisscrosses the property. And you can imagine, being former Cane Hall Road, it's very, very robust, and more than we have adequately served the proposed residential traffic to be generated by this proposed development. We feel that the project site itself and the requested FA1A zoning is appropriate in this particular area, as indicated by the low density urban designation by the general plan, a similar designation by the Kamakua community development plan, which defines the project site as within the urban boundaries of the Ocala area. And I should note that one of the things expressed within the Hamakua CDP is this following statement that I would like to read for you, and which basically defines why this is an appropriate request in Old Town. And that particular policy statement from the CDP reads, to reduce rural sprawl and infrastructure costs, the Hamakua CDP, focuses future residential development in existing villages and towns and seeks to preserve large productive agricultural lands for agriculture by accommodating rural residential development close to these urban centers. So with that statement, that we believe the requested FA1A zoning is the appropriate land use pattern for this particular. So with that all being said, we would like to now speak to two proposed changes and to the conditions of approval. And we earlier, the staff distributed sort of outlines the language that we would like the commission to consider. First of all, condition I speaks to the pro rata share of improvements to the old Mamalahoa Highway, should it be initiated by the Department of Public Works. And as you note at the very beginning of the condition, it says the applicant, successors, or assigns, meaning that if the widening of the old Mamalahoa Highway does not commence prior to the applicant securing final subdivision approval, that imposition will carry on to its successors and assigns. So with that being said, the suggested language that we offer at the end of condition I basically states that in the event of the pro rata share is not paid prior to the receipt of final subdivision approval, restricted covenants in the deeds of all proposed lots shall specify the pro rata share obligation contained in this condition. In that event, a copy of the proposed covenants to be recorded with the Bureau of Conveyances shall be submitted to the planning director for review and approval prior to the issuance of final subdivision approval. A copy of the recorded document shall be filed with the planning department upon its receipt from the Bureau of Conveyances. And again, this is just clarifying language to make sure that the proper documentation is put forth in the deeds so that future landowners of these lots are made fully aware of their obligation should the road be widened. The second proposed amendment to the end of condition S, which is the fair share condition. That speaks to condition H, which states that prior to final subdivision approval, the applicant shall install necessary safety devices, for example, guardrails, along the subject property's old Mamalahoa highway frontage, provided no utility relocation is required, if required by the Department of Public Works. The applicant will not forsake any necessary safety improvements if required by the county, but also let it be known that the subject property has about 1,100 linear feet of frontage along the old Mamalahoa highway. And if deemed necessary, the applicant would be willing to provide these safety improvements, the guardrails, but understand that that safety improvement not only benefits the 7 lots being proposed by this project, but it will also provide for the safety of all users of that roadway. So we feel that it is only reasonable and fair that the cost of those improvements, should it be required by the county, be credited against the applicant's roadway fair share contributions. I hope I made myself clear enough, but anyway, with that being said, we stand ready to answer any questions that the commission has.
Thank you, Mr. Arroyo. Any questions from the commissioners? Vice Chair available.
So I wanted to ask about that last condition. So we need to understand that, and that it would be credited against the road and traffic improvements assessment to the maximum that would be credited via 6,600. It's listed in the
That is,
state's recommendation.
that is correct.
So anything over that would just be part of what they would be supplying to the improvements, correct?
That is correct.
Any other questions? Commissioner DeLuce?
Just a quick question, is the condition I road frontage improvements, so is that a county road that's a designated county road?
That is.
That's on the property, okay.
That is county road, yes.
Then the second question would be, I know that the impact fee or the fee, is it only the value of it's 6,699 to support road and traffic improvements? Is that what you're trying to convey? Is that dollar amount will be going towards that if necessary, would be dedicated to that improvement, the dollar amount?
Yes, with 7 proposed lots, I'm just doing the math right off the top of my head, maybe roughly $45,000 worth of fair share contributions. That $45,000 will help offset the cost of installing 1,100 linear feet of guardrail, which I am guessing is far in excess of $45,000. But at the very least, it will be unreasonable and unfair to have Mr. Cardoza install the guardrails and yet have to pay an additional $45,000 separately as a fair share contribution. And because it benefits not only, it doesn't ameliorate any direct impact caused by Mr. Cardoza's property, it also improves and provides safety for all the users of the road. We feel it's reasonable to at least offset some of the costs with the fair share contribution.
Well, thank you for that explanation. I'm just curious too, that is the number of lots limited to water?
That is correct.
Okay.
He has only 7 units available right now.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Any question?
I wanted to ask about the roads inside of the property. You said that they were robust, but they were probably also somewhat degraded. Is there the use of regulatory or plan or voluntary plan to make improvements to those roads?
Based on my visual observation, when I did a site inspection, the existing Canaan Hall Road that crisscrosses the property is overgrown, at least on the sides of it, so the vegetation is pushing in. So I'm not able to assess the condition of the pavement under the existing vegetation, but there is roughly 20 feet of travelway cleared of vegetation. And in my opinion, the roads are in pretty good condition. And given that it used to support daily traffic, Canaan Hall trucks, then yeah, we believe it continues to be a very robust surface. But I should note that during the subdivision process, regardless of what's there, the standard requirement is that the road shall meet the agricultural standards of roadway standards of the county. So the county will go out and Mr. Cardoza will need to do whatever is necessary to assure the county that the roadways that will be utilized at least meets those minimum standards. And if you look at that minimum standards in the county standard details, the pavement is very, very thin. And I'm sorry, I just lost how thick it is, but it's quite thin. And in fact, I think agricultural standards did allow for the use of macadam, which is almost like oil treated. And that's clearly not as robust as, say, a compacted asphalt concrete surface. And this surface out there is asphalt concrete. So we believe it is robust as it sits right now, but the applicant will still have to meet those requirements during the subdivision process, and we will need to demonstrate that it meets those standards. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions for the applicant? Just last, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as questions, I just like to thank Mr. Cardoza. You know, this fine man here, when I was in my younger days, and when we talk about plantation and like when we have a discussion, he came from that area during the sugar mill era, as when I was growing up as well. Came from there until the sugar mill, you know, closed down. And I still remember this man, was good friends with my supervisor. When I used to work for electrical firm, we were stuck on, I think it was the second or third horseshoe. Somehow we ran out of gas, diesel. And we never know who to call. We were afraid to call our supervisor. We ran out of gas somehow. And I still remember him, and I only knew his number. Mr. Cardoza, we don't pay off. We need gas. It was raining. It was like 9 o'clock, and thank God he was in Otala.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'll be hold. Do you have a question for Mr. Cardoza?
Yes, I do have a question for Mr. Cardoza. As far as the lot goes in the shop, I noticed that the existing Kane Road, kind of like going around, going in, yeah. So I'm assuming that's what you guys are proposing to keep those roads? Yes. That's one question again.
Those roads probably carry 50 tons of
Yeah.
each truck per trip, and we still be able to do it.
And that's kind of like for my panel commissioners. I'm familiar with that kind of road. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Go ahead,
Could
Commissioner.
you please explain, it looks like that road goes right on the property line, and that easement goes outside of the subject property. Could you just explain that, please?
Thank you, Commissioner Daniele. Where you see the road heading northwest, and then it transitions into the adjoining, there's a 40-foot wide access easement. And Mr. Cardoza does have easement privileges over that section of road, which is why on his side of the property, he's providing an additional 10-foot road easement in order to combine, make it the minimum 50-foot wide that's required for agricultural standard roadways. So you're right, from the old Mamalaho Highway, the road will remain entirely on his property, then for a very short segment, sort of like spill over onto the existing 40-foot wider right of way, and then transition back completely onto the applicant's property. But he does have those access rights over that easement.
Thank you for explaining that.
Any further questions? If not, we have a motion for action.
I move that the applicant for use permit docket number 22-000004. Sorry about that. I move that the favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the application for zoning, for change of zone, docket number PL-REZ- 2022-000018, based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Yeah, Commissioner Daniele, would you like to include the proposed change in conditions?
Yes, I would also like to add the proposed change of conditions that we received today.
I second.
It was moved by Commissioner Daniele and seconded by Commissioner Aguinaldo for a favorable recommendation to County Council with the proposed conditions provided by the applicant. Is there any discussion on this motion? If not, staff. Call, please.
Commissioner Daniele,
Aye.
Commissioner Aguinaldo,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog, Commissioner Cross,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
I,
Vice Chair Galimba,
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
The motion carries 7-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You'll be notified via writing of the commission's decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, we'll take a 5-minute recess. We'll come back at 10:20.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, the next agenda item is applicant Randy Kunimoto, PL SPP 2022-00015. Just to let everybody know, this application has been withdrawn effective yesterday. So the commission will not be doing any action on this agenda item. However, I see that there are 2 testifiers signed up for this matter. So if the testifiers would still like to testify on this matter, please come up. The first one I have here is Mr. Henry Lilo. Yeah, you guys can both come up at the same time, one on each. The other person is Mr. Michael Bishop. Yes. Sure. I'll swear you in both at the same time, if that's okay. I'll swear you in both at the same time, so if you could please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth in this matter before the Windward Planning Commission?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Leela, I'll have you go first. If you please state your name and the area you live in. You have 3 minutes for your testimony.
My name is Dr. Henry Leroy. I'm a retired physician, and I've lived at 1579 Melamama Street since 1996. Members of the Windward Planning Commission, fellow citizens, aloha kakahiaka. Good morning. We built our home there because we found it to be peaceful and quiet, and in close proximity to my office in downtown Hilo, and close to the Hilo Medical Center, where I could quickly, efficiently get to and from at all hours of the night and day. I oppose a special use permit application of Mr. Randy Kunimoto for a commercial tennis facility in a residential neighborhood. It is very difficult to testify against a neighbor. I wave hello to all my neighbors. They all wave back. I'm going to wave to strangers, and they wave back to me too. If permitted for commercial enterprise, this business will continue to adversely affect surrounding properties. Our property is one of those surrounding properties, and we have been adversely impacted by traffic, noise, lights, not knowing who is coming and going on Melamama Street, which is a dead end. I'm a former athlete, and I have the utmost respect for teachers and coaches. My Hilo High School basketball coach, Al Mangungas, taught me the 4 Ds to achieving success: desire, dedication, determination, and discipline were key elements which I took and applied to my life's work in caring for others. Now, I don't play tennis, but it's in my blood. My grandfather was a champion tennis player in Phoenix, Arizona, home of the Nationals. He graduated from Mid-Pacific High School in Honolulu in 1915. Went to Detroit, Michigan, where he studied auto mechanics, and moved to Arizona, where he raised his family and had a successful auto mechanic business. My mother said he loved the game of tennis, I have old newspaper articles about him successfully advocating for more tennis courts throughout the city of Phoenix. He played regularly and competitively. Until he was arrested by the FBI and put in prison during World War II, only because he was a Japanese ancestor. I'm certain that the greater community of Hilo deserves a tennis school, but this neighborhood is not the right place. If the planning director, who wrote a favorable recommendation, and you, members of the Windward Planning Commission, grant the special use permit, it would set a bad precedent for allowing illegal uses, enterprises, or schools that have been around for, say, 12 years to get started and come in for approval after the fact. Why have zoning laws? I ask each of you as members of the Windward Planning Commission for your empathy and understanding, and put yourselves in our shoes and deny the permit. Thank you for your time and kind attention, and I will answer any questions that you have.
Dr. Leroy, do any commissioners have any questions? Go ahead, Vice Chair.
I just wanted to ask if you could explain your posters since you brought them.
Yes. I was told to hold them up and talk, but I found it kind of cumbersome. I have two photographs. On the far right is the large coverall building that covers Mr. Kunimoto's tennis facility. He said that it's barely visible from the road, but as you can see from Melimano Street, it's huge. This photograph shows speed bumps that were placed there because the traffic became very heavy and people were speeding up and down, going to and from their lessons. In fact, there was an incident in which while I was driving home one evening in the afternoon, a car behind me tailed me, and I put on my blinkers to slow and turn to my driveway, and this car overtook me on the right shoulder between my car and the telephone pole and sped up and went into Mr. Kunimoto's residence. I think it was a player, perhaps late for his lessons. I turned around in my driveway and I drove up to Mr. Kunimoto and I explained what happened. I told him I was not happy and someone could have been hurt because residents walk up and down the street, they walk their dogs, they push their strollers. That's why I took these photographs. This is just two of several photographs that I have submitted in my written testimony to you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Dr. Leroy. I'll move on to Mr. Bishop here.
Good morning, members.
Could you please state your name?
My name is-
where you live.
My name is Michael Bishop. My physical address is 1485 Melimano Street. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here fundamentally understanding that Mr. Kunimoto put his application. So my written comments are on file. I am here to support the objection to any further application in the process of acquiring and after the fact granting of commercial business in a residential neighborhood. The Planning Commission report for assessment had pointed out a number of flaws with code violations or causes for concern, such as increased traffic, such as illegal, unregulated sewage disposal, cesspools, ADA incompliances, parking restrictions, other violations that were noted on the planning commission's proposal. I'm just hoping that Mr. Kunimoto understands the situation that the neighbors are facing. Because I don't want to see a tax burden being levied on property owners that are neighboring because Mr. Kunimoto's evaluated sales of this property might generate that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. At this time, I will bring up Ms. Faye Sakata.
Good morning. My name is Chris McGuire, I'm an attorney. Morning, Commissioners. My name is Chris McGuire. I'm the attorney for Stephen Faye Sakata. They're the petitioners for standing in this matter. Want to take their testimony first, or I did want to point out that I believe with the withdrawal of the application, the planning department had noted in its initial zoning determination, they told them to cease the tennis operation, apply for a special permit. And then when he asked if he could resume operations, the planning department allowed him to do so. That's been going on since, I think, December last year. And in that statement from the planning department said, if your special permit is denied, you must cease all tennis operations immediately. So hearing yesterday afternoon that his application had been withdrawn, I just want to make sure that either the planning department or the commission can assure not just the Sakatas, but the other neighbors that if the operation continues, that there would be an immediate notice to him to cease and desist. Because by withdrawing it, I'm assuming that prior notice of being required to get the special permit might allow him to just resume, and we have to start all over again. The Sakatas filed their zoning complaint in November 2020, and then the planning department acted on it in November 2021. So that's the reason I was here. I wanted to inform the commission of that, and I'll let Mr. and Mrs. Sakata address the commission unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. At this point, since the application has been withdrawn, the commission will not be doing any decision on a petition. However, we will, any questions regarding the operations or the application itself will be directed to the planning director. But I will take testimony if you still want to provide your testimony. Okay. If you're both providing testimony, if you could raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter before the Windward Planning Commission. If you could please state your name, of the area you live in, and provide your testimony.
Lisa Kapta, I reside at 1617 Melamon Street, and I'm the next door neighbor to them. There's a vacant lot between my home and this one. Husband's going to give a statement, but we already received our letter that was posted. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, I'm more than happy to answer.
I'm Steve Sakata, we live right next door, 1617 Melamon Street. You have a letter that was submitted. Let me just touch up on some highlights. There's also some photographs that should be in your record that shows the Mr. Kunimoto and the neighbors there. And then there's another photograph Mr. Kunimoto and our house that's right next door. It's very uncomfortable testifying against our neighbor, because we have to live with them after all this is done. But the covenant does say that there's no commercial business that's allowed in this area. And so he's been doing this for 17 years now without a permit, and we assumed he had a permit. Just because we know him personally, he coached our daughter. We know his parents really well, we worked tournaments and all that, and we just trusted him, and you know, he's a good friend. And so when we found out he didn't have a permit, he's applying for a special permit. Over the years, we've been trying to talk to him about the noise and the traffic. And he always would give us, he'll say, okay, we'll work on it. And he'll do things like, he'll cut down his schedule for a few days, and he goes right back up to 9:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to 9:30 at night, 7 days a week. And it got to be really frustrating. And somebody told me that Randy had told her that he doesn't want to talk to me anymore about my concerns about the noise and traffic. So it was very frustrating that, you know, we couldn't talk to him anymore. And like Dr. Leroy said, the traffic has been getting worse and worse over the 17 years, and he's doing really well. He's a really good coach. His business just grew and grew and grew. And we've been talking to him all this time, but it just kept growing, and then it's getting out of hand. He says there's 8 students per class, and there's 8 classes. But you know what you don't understand is if there's 8 students, 8 cars come up. 4 cars out of the 8 drop off students, or you know, and 4 cars go down. Later on, 45 minutes later, these 4 come up to pick up the kids, and then 8 goes down, and there's another 8 coming up. So you can have 80 to 100 cars all day, and it's just and if you look at the picture, this one here, the cul-de-sac. When these players drive into his driveway, they come upon our side of the driveway of the cul-de-sac. They don't make a nice safe turn. They go right in front of our driveway. So sometimes we have to really be careful when we come out of our driveway, because he comes, you know, the cars come up to in front of our driveway. And there are times when a lot of cars get backed up because of the timing of it. There's 3 cars dropping off kids in the cul-de-sac, which is illegal. And they're waiting for the other cars to come out. And so that bottleneck at the cul-de-sac is really bad, because it's a dead-end street, right? And Randy, as I recall, in the paper that he submitted, and another customer said that he has an alternate site that he's giving lessons at. So with that, I'm thinking, why doesn't he use the alternate site for all his classes and stuff instead of in a residential area? At any rate, he says that he puts up signs, slow down, don't tailgate. But they tailgate, they don't slow down. We got humps put in, but they speed between the humps, and sometimes they just zoom right over the humps. And like Dr. Leroy said, we walk our dogs down the street. We got hit almost a couple of times. I had to yell at them because, you know, they're not paying attention. They make a turn, go make a wide turn, and we're walking our dog. That's why I explained all that to Randy, and no improvement at all. And so it gets more frustrating. And the sound, I read the report from the Planning Commission recommendation about Randy will work on the sound, but when you look at the map, there's actually a forest, a small forest between his lot and ours, and yet we can hear the sound. And the recommendation says something about maybe you can put more foliage, but you already have a forest. So I don't think the sound comes right through, right? So I don't think you can prevent that part of it. So the traffic, the noise, is a big issue, as far as I'm concerned. My wife stays home and does work at home, and so she hears it all day long. So we don't have a privacy, peace and quiet and all that kind of stuff for the last 17 years. I'm just gonna end up here, and I just want you guys to put yourselves in our shoes. Would you like to live next to a tennis court, a food-long business going great, a lot of noise, traffic? This is the situation we're in. So please consider our situation. I think it's been going on too long without a permit, and I don't think this business belongs in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Mr. Sakata, for your testimony. As I stated before, because the application has been withdrawn, we're not going to be making any decision unless another application is submitted. And then you guys would submit for another petition, be in a contested case, but that's only if he does submit. So at this time, it's going to be whatever actions that the planning director has discussed with Mr. Kunimono regarding his withdrawal.
Thank you very much. Can I ask the planning director a question, if that's possible? Because our concern that I raised earlier about if he continues to operate, what Mr. Kunimoto had said, they said he met with Mr. Kern.
So we just, all right, yes, we just found out yesterday of the withdrawal. So he will have to cease operations. I'll be talking with him. I'll give him a short transition period so the students can be notified. It's not so much for him on that transition, it's for the students. And then they'll have to cease operations. And if he doesn't, he'll be fined appropriately.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So based on that, that's all the commission will be hearing today. So
Chair, can I just say something real quick? Is that okay? I just want to thank all the neighbors and great presentation. I know it's tough. I've been in that situation before, but I commend you guys for taking the time, making the effort to come out and speak to us. That helps tremendously. And I think that, zonings are put in for a reason, and we all adhere by it. So we always feel like the others should too. So I know the word grandfather gets used a lot, but appreciate you guys testifying and giving us a great presentation. And thank you.
Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead.
That's the speed humps that were installed, when were they put in, and at whose expense?
It was installed by the county in 2018. There are actually 7 speed humps, and the 2 of us went door to door, and there's 70 lots. So we went to each neighbor and spoke with them. Even for those landowners that don't live there, we have to send letters and communicate to everyone, not just on Millimon, but on the side streets, Cristiano. And we actually got over 70% approval. Our neighbors all agreed that it was a problem. And the county put it in. So thank you. That was great. It's really served us well.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the planning director's report. If there's any report. Report on the special management area determinations and minor permits issued by the planning director. commissioners, do you have any questions regarding the SMA report that was provided via email? No? Any comments regarding the report stuff?
No, just your questions.
If not, we'll move on to the agenda items for next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Right now, we tentatively have two agenda items scheduled for next meeting. One, I believe, is a special permit and another is a zoning code change that's going to be coming toward you.
Very much. That, we're going to go into announcements. The next Windward Planning Commission monthly meeting is scheduled for Thursday, October 6th. Here at the Alponi Center Conference Room. The public may watch the meeting on YouTube and may testify via Zoom or in person. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn our meeting today.
I'll second that.
Okay, so moved by Commissioner Aguinaldo, seconded by Commissioner Daniele. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. No opposed? No. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Bring attorney stuff. Listen.